Hello, everyone. It is the Prophet Michael David, aka Aries, and today we're going to go over the Meek. All right. In almost all my modern videos, before I post them, I go on Google Images and try to find an image that applies to the title of the video. That's pretty obvious if you've seen any of my other videos. So I did that today, and but first I gotta find out what I'm going to call the video, and I remember the quote by Jesus about how the meek will inherit the earth. And as I've spoken about before, meek does not mean weak. Meek just means well behaved, polite, and above all, kind and non violent. It's also people that, as we all know, right from wrong. They're people that don't want to do the right thing even though they know it's right, or they're people, even worse, that want to do the wrong thing and do it anyway even though they know it's wrong. They just try to get away with it by any means necessary. So I Google imaged the Meek and I saw that right away. And what that is, it's a card from a card game called Magic the Gathering. Yes, I've played it before. I've maybe even played that card because I used to play a lot of light decks. I don't play very much at all anymore. But it's a really good card. And as soon as I saw it, like, that's when I just get, like, even very short prophetic visions sometimes where I can understand all the different layered meanings of the card, how it applies to me, God, the angel of the Lord, you guys, this time in history. And so, yeah, it's layered meaning between Mashiach, Mahdi, Second Coming, and Christianity, Kalki, even the Eastern religions or cultures. But that's someday I might make a entire video about just that card. But for now, yeah, screenshot it, and it's like I said, it's very much a God thing. It's many layers. In like 30 seconds I got to like 12, but again, that's me. So I have to admit, when I first saw this the other day or 2 days ago, uh, I almost cried, and I almost never do that these days. um, it just, I could see the fear in the guy's eyes. All the power's out. He didn't know if his communication was even going through, and you can just see him doing a calculation, like I'm sure all the Palestinians are doing, about their chances to die that night, or the night after, or the night after that. It's both sad, horrible, pathetic, just an ultimate display of, the world that we live in right now. This one was equally heartbreaking. Made me less sad and angrier, even though I'm still controlling it pretty well. But just about how Palestinians are now fearful of some of the Jewish Palestinians living in West Bank, not Gaza, are fearful of even Jewish people that they've lived and worked with for, years, generations now, of physical violence. And not so weirdly, it reminded me of a saying that they asked people from the Holocaust and World War II, that they said, on any given day, it wasn't the SS that we had to worry about because there weren't that many of them and we could dodge them pretty easily. It was the Nazi bakers and the Nazi uh, fishmongers and the Nazi other people that they had to deal with in their daily lives, that all of a sudden felt empowered that they could do anything they want to the Jews. It gave me the same exact feeling watching this video. Which ultimately brought me to this third video, because I do everything in threes, which made me the least saddest and the most angry, because it was basically the same story, except it was specifically about how there are these Israeli settlers that basically beating up, and they've even killed a couple of these Palestinian olive farmers. And in that screenshot itself, not only have they run them off their land or whatever, or beat them up or killed a couple, but then they try to set their olive trees on fire. And the reason this is so blasphemous, other than the unneeded violence, is that the olive tree is a symbol of Judaism itself. It's a symbol of God, but it's also a symbol of Judaism itself, along with the moon. And to burn down an olive tree for any reason is just, I mean, it's not as bad as killing a human, but what it represents is just horrible. It's horrible. That one is less about the video or the story, except and more about that image. As I've said before, does that look like the legendary land of milk and honey, or does that look like Satan and the Antichrist's playground? Really? Do you think God would ever live there? No, 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 she wouldn't. No, she wouldn't. And I was going to leave this video on that sad cliffhanger, but then I found this last clip, and it's very much a silver lining. It's still a silver lining for the world we live in, but still a silver lining. Which brings me back to the title of this video. These are the meek that will inherit the earth. They're from all over the world, but they have one thing in common. They don't care who it is, what they look like, what their religion is, where they live, that they are still people that deserve respect, and above all, to be not slaughtered like animals. Those are the meek. And like I said, for what it's worth, and should be worth a whole lot, God really does love you for this. She loves all her creations, even the evil ones. She has to, because she created them. But she does have her favorites. You're looking at him. But she also has her favorites in how they act. It is very much in accordance with the first rule. Very much so. So again, God's proud of you. The angel of the Lord's proud of you. The archangel Michael would be very proud of you as well. And I'm very proud of you as well. It takes a lot of courage. Courage just being defined as being afraid but knowing it's the right thing to do, as opposed to cowardice, which is being too afraid to do the right thing. Exactly what we talked about before. There is no such thing as fearlessness. We all have fear except for crazy people. There's just people that, even though they're afraid, they'll do the right thing, and there's people that will never do the right thing because they are afraid. All right, and now before I sign off, I'm just gonna give you a little heads up on my next couple of videos. I know there's been some spacing out about how I became a prophet. All right, so whatever. Videos ago, I did a video called How I Became a Prophet, and that was day 1 through day 5. Then I did a second video that was day 6 through day 31, and that was called Original Sin. So the next one that I'll probably do right after this is going to be called God's Love, and that spans from day 32 to day 33. So day 32 and 33. And day 34 will be called God's Wrath, and day 35 will be called Not the One. And all this will make sense in time, but like I said, I'm almost positive that I'm going to do the video called God's Love, which for me will be day 32 and 33, which in actual dates would be April 1st, 2021, April Fool's Day, and April 2nd, 2021. All right, signing off. As always, rule number 1, do not touch other people without their consent, aka do not hurt them. And rule number 2, it's all about honesty. Lies that are ticked down, aka try not to lie. All right, I'll talk to you guys probably here again in a little bit.